In Norse mythology, Hell's realm isn't some grand courtroom or fiery pit. It's a place for thinking things over, a quiet grey stretch that gives the dead time to come to terms with their own stories. There's no glory waiting here, and no real torment either. The souls that end up in Helheim don't get punished or rewarded, they just drift, facing the echoes of everything they did in life. Picture Niflheim, cold mist swirling, endless but somehow tight. Souls move through the haze. Shapes blurred, nothing sharp. No bright fires, no feasts or songs. That stuff belongs somewhere else. Hell's land is wrapped in twilight that never quite lifts, a muted silence broken only by the dead passing through. Some wander by themselves, shadows barely holding together. Others band together in quiet groups, united more by their shared fate than any old ties. Everything's cold, the kind of chill that settles deep and won't leave, pressing their old lives against them like a heavy blanket. It's not fear of punishment or hope for reward that drives these souls onward. The motivation comes from inside the realm, a pull that's hard to explain but impossible to resist. Every dead soul feels the urge to look back, follow their own life's messy path, and weigh up every moment of joy, every mistake, every kindness avoided. There's no judge standing over them, no whip cracking. Just that itch to sift through their own memories, lay everything out, and see it for what it really was. They travel beneath arches frozen solid, through valleys where the ground blurs into mist. For some, this journey spirals on. It's circling back to the thing that went wrong, the word they shouldn't have said, or the help they never offered. For others, it's about finding patterns, searching for meaning in all their choices. There's no clear road, but everyone's moving forward, step by step, getting pulled deeper inside themselves. Sometimes they meet each other. And for a moment, the mist lifts. Old faces come into view, a rival, a lost love, a distant child. Recognition flickers, hurts resurface, but the meetings never last long. The reckoning in Niflheim is always personal. Forgiveness or judgment from others doesn't really matter. And yet the dead aren't totally alone. Rumors float through the quiet, stories about figures who guide the dead. Not gods, not demons, just fragments of memory. Shadows of conscience that help souls find places in the realm that mean something. They turn up during pivotal moments, nudging a soul toward realization, regret, or just understanding. Sometimes these guides lead souls through trials, shaped not by divine will but by memories. Regrets become real, choices reappear. Life unfolds again, but this time it's seen in the sharp light of hindsight. And Hell watches. She stands at the center of her world, not cruel, not kind, and definitely not following human ideas of justice. Souls don't look to her for comfort or guidance. She doesn't offer mercy or recognition. She's more like the anchor around which everything spins, a force that gives direction to the drifting dead. Her gaze isn't constant, but it's always felt like a cold thought pressing at the back of every mind. That presence pushes souls to look backward and see themselves as Hell would see them. Raw, split, nothing hidden. Her appearance is a contradiction brought to life. From one angle, she's a young woman, bright-eyed, with a half-smile hinting she knows every secret. From another angle, she's decay, a hollow cheek, a blackened limb, skin stretched thin and cold. Her hair falls in two veils, golden and pale. Seeing both sides hits you with the reality that beauty fades, death changes everything. Hell doesn't speak, words would be too much, mercy or cruelty she refuses to offer. She rules by presence, like the memory of a mother's hand on a fevered brow and the certainty that one day that same hand will close your eyes. When Hell focuses on a soul, memories sharpen. Every secret, regret, hope, and betrayal comes clear. She doesn't judge or weigh them. That's already happened. Just being seen by Hell with nothing masked, nothing prettied up, is enough. Even the most stubborn soul can't pretend anymore. She's more than her strange face, though. Hell is the keeper of sorrow and the architect of reconciliation, whether she wants to be or not. She gathers memories not to torture, but to help illuminate the truth behind every life. She lets reckoning happen naturally. The murderer feels the ache that drove him instead of reliving the kill. The coward faces the ones she let down. These moments are bitter but honest, arriving gradually. Like breath fogging up cold glass, there's a dignity to this reckoning that regular justice never manages. Hell rules not with commands, but with the fact of her existence. She's terrifying and comforting in equal measure. Everything in Helheim revolves around her. She's the witness to every unfinished story, and her realm is shaped in her image, all about harsh, unflinching honesty. And it's not chaos. There's no screaming, no endless suffering, just a slow unraveling of the truth. Hell's domain sits far from the living, beyond rivers almost nobody gets to cross. The river Gjöl marks the boundary, its waters reflect nothing but darkness. Those who cross it are changed, if they ever come back at all. The crossing is watched by a silent guardian. No fighting, no resistance, just the certainty that you'll pass only when your time has come. Deeper in lies Hell's Hall, Uljuthnir. It's huge, cold, and nearly soundless, a place where the dead finally rest. It's not peaceful, just still, and in that stillness they have to think. There's no escaping it. Time doesn't move here like it does for the living. There's no sun, no seasons. Change comes only as slow transformation. Some souls eventually find acceptance. Others linger, unable to let go of what defined them. Hell endures all of it. She isn't just a ruler, she's a witness to the truth that death isn't the end of identity, but the continuation of consequence. Every soul brings its own story, and in Helheim, those stories echo on. Beyond this quiet, there are hints of what's coming next. Visions ripple through Hell's domain. Scenes of the world coming apart, fire and ice crashing together, the chaos called Ragnarök. Maybe they are prophecy, maybe just memory. Hell never looks away. She sees the world's last hour unfold not as a sudden crash, but as a slow unraveling. A tapestry of endings. She watches as Midgard shakes, as gods make desperate moves, as promises break and family turns violent. She sees the wolf break free and devour the sun and moon, the serpent tighten its grip on the earth, crushing any chance of another day. The dead don't really know what's happening, but every shiver in the mist, every strange tremor, marks the approach of the end. But Hell understands something the living can't imagine. Even total destruction holds the seed of renewal. Death, collapse, all of it leads to something new. Where the gods above either chase glory or fear oblivion, Hell gets the deeper math. Memory is never wiped clean, only reshaped. With every ending, something fresh is built from the remains, as her realm fills with the newly dead. Heroes, villains, children, elders, anyone snatched away. Hell bears witness not just to their personal reckonings, but to the bigger process of renewal. Every soul crossing that silent bridge becomes part of the world's closing chapter. Some rage, some surrender, but all contribute to Helheim's essential task, holding the threshold between what was and what will be. That's the quiet job of Helheim. The dead don't serve punishment. They practice the kinds of forgetting and remembering the world needs to restart. Hell in her two-sided form. Life's the transition. The living side gathers regrets and hope. The dead side embraces decay, the harsh finality mortals fear. She's both witness and vessel, holding onto the contradiction until renewal sprouts. It's rarely gentle. Some souls fight the process, clinging to anger and building walls of memory time can't break. They haunt the mists, repeating old grudges, never accepting the blankness that comes if they let go. Hell can't force them to move on, she just waits. Patient for resistance to fade. Sometimes she turns her gaze their way, and in that cold attention, the soul feels how pointless the fight is. Some break and cry out into the emptiness, others quietly dissolve and finally become ready. But not every soul gives in to despair. Some, with enough time, find strange peace. They see their lives as part of a bigger pattern, not just stories of defeat or triumph, realizing their little struggles matter. They become the architects of Helheim's future, layering forgiveness and wisdom into the foundation. Hell, in her silent way, treasures these souls. They give shape to what comes after the end. As Ragnarok draws near, the line between Helheim and the world of the living gets thinner. The dead feel it, an urgency, a coming collapse. Some dare to hope for return, whispering about bridges to the living world, a last battle where even the forgotten might take part. Hell watches their dreams. Almost amused, she knows nobody returns unchanged. Anything that comes out of Helheim is just a shadow or echo. The living world isn't made for the unchanged dead. Still, she lets them hope. Even illusions contain a hint of grace. When destruction finally arrives and the horizon blazes with the fire of Ragnarok, Hell stands unwavering at the center of her realm. She absorbs the chaos, lets it flow through her, never retreating. She holds onto the memory of everything lost, and carries the fragile possibility of what the world could become. She's not the end, but the passage through which hope and horror travel. In Hell's cold, quiet realm, the dead learn what the living rarely do. Even darkness holds meaning, and when truth is finally faced, something new starts to grow. That's the honest truth. Something always begins again, even in the darkest places. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.